The interesting part of this, because obviously, Jesus came, he lived as a man, and we've kind of touched on all of that. However, the interesting part of this that showed me that this is biblical, and this is one of the reasons why Jesus had to come to earth, is if we rewind it a little bit and we kind of flip the pages back and go back to the Old Testament, one thing that we find that is very interesting is there are numerous times in the Old Testament where, depending on just various prophets, they were taken up into heaven in the Spirit. And it says that they were in the Spirit and they saw heaven. They were before the throne of God. And they give these very elaborate, descriptive illustrations, visuals of what the throne room of heaven looked like as they're before the presence of God and the glory of God. But in all of that, we never seem to find anyone at any point who was before the presence of God, acting as a mediator or an intercessor. Now, this is interesting because we know, obviously, we looked at these verses in the New Testament. It tells us, it describes Jesus as being exactly that. He is next to the throne of God. He is acting as mediator. He's acting as our intercessor. But it's interesting that we only find this picture, this description of Jesus fulfilling this role, we only find this in the New Testament. And granted, we wouldn't see it explicitly mentioned as Jesus in the Old Testament because he's only revealed to us as Jesus Christ, Jesus the Messiah in the New Testament. But there is never even a description of any type of figure in general, any character at all, who is acting as a mediator or an intercessor in the throne room of heaven, in the presence of God. There just isn't one.